perspective and time. They can be perilous, up to 120 feet in size. Graber thinks rogue waves may be the cause of many a ship's unknown demise.
Quite often they come without much warning. They suddenly appear, and that could break over the bow of the ship, and in some cases break the ship in half, or in some cases even push it underwater. If someone is on the deck, I don't think that there's much hope for anyone finding that person anymore.
In the spring of 2005, passengers on the Norwegian Dawn, an enormous cruise ship traveling from the Bahamas to New York, experienced the terror of a rogue wave. Out of nowhere, a 70-foot wave slams the boat. Passengers are injured, windows are broken, and 62 cabins are flooded. Rogue waves are just one of the unexpected perils of the Triangle. Dangerously deceptive weather conditions are another.
They can change very quickly, even hourly, especially in the summertime. You can get very quickly thunderstorms, squalls.
An average of 5 hurricanes a year barrel through this area. Also, waterspouts, like this one on the water behind these houses in South Florida, can pop up out of nowhere. These tornadoes over water indiscriminately suck up and spit out anything in their path. The Bermuda Triangle's treacherous waves and weather may cause vessels distress, but they don't explain all the disappearances or answer the perplexing mystery of why so many, like the Mariner, vanish without a trace. Everything that falls from the ocean surface finds new life on the bottom. The target that casts such a promising shadow on the sonar screen looks quite different up close, encrusted with coral and teeming with sea life. 4 feet wide and 8 feet long, the target Andrew Driver has located rises about 3 feet off the ocean floor. It looks man-made, but what is it? Knocking away the decades, Andrew began searching for something recognizable on this fragment from another time. In the dim light of the ocean depths, he hopes to find a serial number, an emblem or seal, anything that might reveal the artifact's origin. After examining the target for 20 minutes, Andrew returns to the surface with news our team anxiously waits to hear. Have they, at long last, found the missing Mariner? The seas are dead calm out on the edge of the Bermuda Triangle. For the first time since it vanished 60 years ago, our team thinks they may have found a tangible link to the missing Mariner. But after 20 minutes on the ocean floor, examining a lost relic, scuba expert Andrew Driver surfaces with more questions than answers. What's it look like?
There's nothing that shouts out at you. It's an aeroplane, but you know, over the 60 years or so, things could have grown up all around it.
Were you able to chip any of it away?
Yeah, we chipped away and we dug around with a screwdriver, not wanting to do too much damage to the reef or anything like that, just to see if we could find anything that was, you know, obviously human or metallic. But we didn't see anything.
After another dive and further discussion, it's determined that whatever it is, or used to be, this fragment is simply too far gone to be positively identified now. With miles of ocean bottom still to be surveyed, expedition leader David Bright decides to press on, confident that the large debris field he's looking for will soon be found. But those who've had close calls in the Bermuda Triangle say mere science and logic cannot fully explain what happens here. Some insist there is something otherworldly going on.
After seeing what I saw, I think there's something to the Bermuda Triangle mystery.
Doug Gurdon and Paul Vance have a close encounter with mystifying forces in the Triangle. They are on a sailboat en route to the Bahamas from Florida in June of 2001. Night has just fallen when their transforming experience begins.
When we were about 12 miles offshore, during our trip, I've been watching the sky and watching the airplanes go over going into Miami. I watched one particular light, and it came across the sky, and then it stopped. What happened next was that this cloud and this light slowly turned into a swirling mist and started revolving very slowly, and was mesmerized by this, obviously. It was something I had never seen before. Big Saturn glowed for 2 or 3 minutes and spun, but it is as if this light came to a predetermined position, and this cloud formed underneath it, you know, almost like it was a door. And then the light went through that door or passage.
Then, things get even scarier. The only engine on the boat, the one they were using to motor across the Gulf Stream, suddenly starts to fail.
When we saw this light and it had finished dissipating, we had engine problems.
Without a motor, Vance and Gurdon have to sail back to Florida in the middle of the night. They are shaken by what they saw lurking in the skies above the triangle and relieved to have escaped it.
I just said my last little prayer because, I mean, it was really a shocking thing to see. I just made sure all my sins were forgiven one more time.
Was it a UFO? Reports of strange lights in the sky here go back for centuries. Remember those lights spotted by Columbus on the eve of discovering the New World? Is it possible that visitors from another galaxy were visiting the triangle even then? Pilot Bruce Gernon has a UFO experience while flying in his plane off the coast of Florida.
It was shaped like a saucer. It was huge, and it was glowing really bright. All of a sudden, it shot right at us at a phenomenal rate, and I thought we were going to crash. And I was saying the last prayers as I turned off to the left as sharp as I could possibly turn. And then when I looked back, after I made the turn, it was gone.
One of the most disturbing UFO sightings ever recorded happens just off the coast of Puerto Rico in 1980.
Air to ground, pick up a pilot panicking. Maldonado Torres. He is talking about a weird object harassing his aircraft that made him change courses 3 times. He keeps calling Mayday. It's obvious he's quite desperate by this time. He vanishes with his last communication. A few minutes later, another blip reappears on the scope, tracking a different direction, no transponder of any kind, and then that vanishes from the scope as well.
Do UFOs play a role in the disappearances here? They are just one of the many mysteries of the triangle. After 3 long days on the water, our experts have found nothing definitive in their search for the missing mariner.
All right, guys, let's pack it up for today.
But later that night, those of us on board our dive boat, the Kenny Lund, find out just how terrifyingly real the mystique of the Bermuda Triangle can be. Shortly after 10 p.m., as our crew relaxes, the Kenny Lund is suddenly plunged into darkness. All of the electrical circuits are dead. No lights, no radio. Because the generator won't crank, the powerful bilge pumps which keep the old wooden ship afloat are useless. In short, the Kenny Lund is sinking with no way to call for help. It is after midnight before Captain Eric Smith and our crew are able to raise the ship's massive anchor and get the engine started.
Fire in the hole!
After steaming west for more than 2 hours, the crew is able to use a cell phone to call for help.
Is Eric all right with us tying on?
Early the next morning, the cavalry arrives, carrying a new generator.
She's not going to make it through the gate, so we're going to go right up on the top. All right, we got it.
After a night spent struggling to keep the Ketty Lund afloat, our bedraggled crew begins another day, thankful to have avoided becoming another statistic.
Okay, I see our destination.
On our own mission to retrace the route of Flight 19, we are approaching the time when Lieutenant Taylor started to seriously doubt what his compass was telling him.
And let's start a left turn now.
We're flying over Great Stirrup Key, about an hour into our flight, right on schedule.
And as we proceed northbound, it looks like our heading is nice and stable.
We turn northeast and head towards Great Sail Key, the point Flight 19 never found. Along the way, pilot Rick Siegfried will look for Grand Bahama Island, the landmark Lieutenant Taylor never saw, and closely monitor the compass.
What's your compass doing?
Compass is as steady as a rock.
Nothing weird happening with the compass?
Not a thing. It's steady as a rock.
The question is, will the compass stay accurate? Or will we, too, lose our way in the Bermuda Triangle? It seems like anyone who spends time in this area has a tale about electromagnetic malfunction or spinning compasses. Remember when our captain struggled to get an accurate reading from his compasses?
I'm steering by GPS. I have a regular magnetic compass and a flux gauge compass, and neither of them are cooperating.
Or was there something about the area of the triangle? There's something, either its placement on the globe, the unique weather conditions, humidity that causes the electric charges of something beneath the sea.
But what could it be? Science has no real explanation for phenomena encountered here by people like Krista Brown, a diving instructor in Bimini.
My husband Brown and I have been on the boat before with a compass and with a GPS, and the two of them are not aligned with one another. One is telling you to go 25 degrees one way and the other is 25 degrees in the opposite direction. There's some force or some energy or something out there that's causing them not to align up.
William Kittinger, the air traffic controller who witnesses a plane disappear, also experiences electromagnetic deviations as a pilot.
As I was climbing out of Great Inagua to Port-au-Prince, as I was climbing out, I believe I flew around 6,000 feet. My compass started spinning. I'd never seen a compass do that before. It lasted approximately 5 to 10 minutes.
Kittinger had an electronic compass that is still working, but other pilots are not so lucky. Memories of scary magnetic deviations still haunt pilot Carrie Trantham years after a terrifying flight. She is flying solo to Key West one evening. She's expecting an easy flight.
There were really high clouds up there.